There are moments in life when the noise of the world becomes so overwhelming that it feels almost impossible to hear anything beyond the chaos, the clamor of endless demands, the constant pull of worries, and the unceasing hum of distractions that keep the heart restless, the mind clouded, and the soul weary. Yet in the middle of all this turbulence, there exists a still, gentle voice, God's voice, that does not shout above the noise, but speaks in the quiet spaces, in the pauses between breaths, in the silent hours of reflection, and in the moments when we stop running long enough to listen with the ears of our spirit. God's message for you today is not one that comes wrapped in grand gestures or dramatic signs that demand your attention. Instead, it often arrives in subtle ways, in the way the sunlight filters through the clouds after days of rain, in the unexpected kindness of a stranger, in the comforting words of a friend who speaks exactly what you needed to hear, and in the sudden peace that settles over your heart when you are certain you cannot take another step. And this is because God knows that true transformation begins not when you are overwhelmed with noise, but when you are receptive, when your heart is tender enough to hear Him whisper, "I am here. I see you, and I know exactly what you are going through." The truth is, God's message now is as timeless as it is personal. He wants you to understand that you are not an accident drifting aimlessly through existence, but a deliberate creation, formed with care, intention, and love beyond comprehension. Your struggles are not meaningless obstacles meant to break you, but shaping tools in the hands of the master craftsman who molds your character, strengthens your faith, and refines your spirit so that you become the person you were always meant to be. You may feel at times as though your prayers vanish into empty space, as though your cries are unanswered and your tears unseen. But God's message for you today is to remind you that His silence does not mean His absence, and His timing, though it may not align with your desires, has always been perfect, for He sees the whole journey while you see only the step you are on. He knows that certain blessings require patience to grow, certain victories require preparation to win, and certain answers require maturity to handle. So He speaks to you now, urging you to trust the process, to keep your faith anchored even when the waves rise high, to walk forward even when the path is unclear, and to lean on Him even when you feel like your strength is gone. Because in those very moments of surrender, when you release control and stop wrestling with the how and when, you open yourself to the fullness of His plan, which is always greater than anything you could orchestrate on your own. God's message now is also a reminder that your worth is not determined by the mistakes you have made, the failures you have experienced, or the opinions of people who do not see your heart. Your worth was established the moment He created you in His image and sealed you with His love. And no setback, no betrayal, no loss, and no rejection can erase that truth. For His love is not conditional, it is not fragile, and it does not fade with time. It is steadfast, enduring, and eternal, reaching into the darkest corners of your life and lighting them with hope. Perhaps you are carrying burdens today that feel too heavy to bear, financial struggles that keep you awake at night, health concerns that shake your peace, relationships that have fractured under the weight of misunderstanding, or dreams that seem to be slipping away despite all your effort. And in the midst of this heaviness, God's voice comes as a tender reassurance. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Lay down what you cannot carry alone, because I was never asking you to carry it without me." In this present moment, as you read these words, God's message for you is an invitation to slow down, to quiet the relentless noise that has been pulling your focus in 1,000 directions, and to intentionally create space for His presence. This may mean turning off your phone for a while, stepping away from the endless demands, finding a quiet corner, and simply breathing deeply while you allow yourself to become aware of Him. Not in a distant, unreachable way, but in the intimate reality that He is closer than your own heartbeat. And as you begin to listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your heart, you will notice that His voice speaks not only comfort, but also direction.
He may place a new idea in your mind, a sudden clarity about a decision you have been wrestling with, a conviction to let go of something harmful, or a deep sense of peace that assures you that you are exactly where you need to be for now, even if you do not yet see the full picture. Remember that God's message is not only for comfort in the valleys, but also for courage on the mountains. When blessings come and life is abundant, He calls you to remain humble, to be generous, to use your gifts for the good of others, and to remember that every good thing you have is not merely a product of your own effort, but a result of His grace and favor. And when challenges come, He calls you to stand firm, to trust His word over your fears, and to keep moving forward knowing that the same God who walked with you in seasons of joy will not abandon you in seasons of trial. The truth is, God's message for you today, right now, is deeply personal. And though these words may speak generally, the Holy Spirit is able to translate them into the exact language your soul understands. He knows the secret pain you have not voiced to anyone, the silent prayers you have prayed in the dark, the dreams you are almost afraid to hope for again, and the fears you try to hide from others. And He responds not with judgment or condemnation, but with compassion, strength, and the assurance that you are never alone, not for a single heartbeat. So as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you. God is speaking, always, but it is in the stillness, the surrender, and the soft spaces of your life that you will hear Him most clearly. His message now is a reminder that you are loved without condition, guided without confusion, and protected without fail. And that no matter where you find yourself, on the mountaintop or in the valley, He is with you, writing your story with a wisdom and love that far exceeds your understanding, and leading you toward a future filled with hope, peace, and purpose.
And so, beloved soul, as you sit in this moment of quietness, with the noise of the world fading into the background, God is whispering into the deepest chambers of your heart, urging you to lean closer, to still your thoughts, to unclutter your mind. For He has something to say that will not just inspire you momentarily, but will anchor you for the storms ahead. For His words are not like the fleeting affirmations of man, but like eternal pillars carved in stone, unshaken by time. And in this sacred exchange, He reminds you that you are not an accident wandering aimlessly through an indifferent universe, but a deliberate creation of divine intention, shaped in love before the foundations of the earth were laid. And every single step you have taken, whether in joy or in regret, has been woven into a story that He has been writing long before you drew your first breath. And though there have been seasons where you thought your prayers fell into silence, those were the very moments when He was closest, bending down to catch your tears and turning them into seeds for a future harvest that you cannot yet see. And now He tells you with the certainty of the sunrise that the battles you have been fighting are not proof of His absence, but evidence of your coming breakthrough. For the enemy does not waste his time on empty vessels, but only on those filled with purpose and promise. And even now, God is aligning doors, opportunities, and divine appointments that will bring clarity to what seemed like chaos. Yet He also warns you not to measure His love by the speed of His answers, for His timing is not delayed, but perfect, arriving exactly when it will bring the most glory and the deepest growth. And if you will dare to trust Him in this season of uncertainty, holding on to His promises even when your eyes cannot yet see their fulfillment, you will one day look back and realize that every detour, every delay, every heartbreak was not a random misfortune, but a carefully placed stepping stone leading you toward the life He designed for you before time began. So lift your head, breathe deeply, and listen carefully, for His voice is calling you even now, saying, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, and I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And let those words sink into your spirit like rain into dry soil, for they are not just ancient verses, but living truth meant for you today, in this very moment, in the exact situation you are facing. And if you will take them to heart, you will walk forward not in trembling uncertainty, but in unshakable confidence, knowing that the one who spoke the universe into being is also speaking life, peace, and victory over you right now. Then hear this, beloved one,
For the message does not end here, but continues to flow like a mighty river from the heart of the Creator to the ears of His child, because He knows the weight you have been carrying and the silent questions you have been too afraid to speak aloud. And He says to you, I have seen every sleepless night, every anxious thought, every battle you have fought in the hidden corners of your soul, and I have not turned away. For I am not the God who abandons, but the God who stays, the God who walks with you through fire and through the storm, the God who parts the waters when you cannot see a way forward. And even when you stumble, my hand is not too short to catch you and lift you back to your feet. And as you receive these words into the deepest places of your heart, you will begin to see that what you thought was a delay was actually my preparation. What you thought was a closed door was my protection. What you thought was a season of emptiness was in fact a season where I was planting seeds that would only bloom in the fullness of time. And so I tell you to stop worrying about what others think of your journey, for they cannot see the blueprint I have drawn for your life, and to stop comparing your timing to theirs, for your path is uniquely designed, with milestones and miracles chosen especially for you. And every challenge you have faced is a part of your training, sharpening your faith, deepening your wisdom, and strengthening your spirit, so that when the appointed time comes, you will not only step into your blessing, but carry it with humility, gratitude, and the ability to steward it well. And do not be surprised if I remove certain people from your life, for not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next chapter. And do not mourn too long over what I take away, for I never take without giving something better, and I never close one chapter without preparing a greater one. And I urge you to trust that even the silence is speaking, for sometimes my greatest work in you is done not through the thunder of miracles, but through the quiet shaping of your heart in stillness. So do not despise these moments, for they are holy ground where I am molding you into the person you are destined to be. And as surely as the dawn breaks after the longest night, so too will your joy return, greater than before, deeper than before, unshakable by the storms that once frightened you. For you will know by then, without any doubt, that I, the Lord your God, am faithful to the end, and my promises never fail. And I will complete the work I began in you, for my love for you has no measure, no shadow of turning, and no end.